this time on Brony Rivals, we are continuing working on the green Chevy square body.
Drive shaft! So we're going to be changing out our ignition module. In order to do that, we got to pull our cap off, which is the 4 screws on the cap. 1 there, 2, 3, 4, and your cap pulls off like so. I like to keep all the wires connected so you're not trying to mess around with what was my firing order and yada yada yada. Keep it all connected. It will go right back on the way it came off. Then basically we're actually going to have to take off our, what is this, technically the rotor, right? Because this is our cap, this is our rotor. Basically the rotor spins inside the cap. There's a little metal end on here, and if you get up under, I don't know if you can quite see it or not, there's a bunch of little metal tabs in here. Basically as that guy spins and makes contact with all of them, that's what creates your spark and what sends your spark out through the spark plugs, or not that your spark plug wires, which then go into the spark plugs, which are in the side of the heads. Spark plug sparks, and then that's what ignites your fuel charge in the engine. But basically, zippity doo dab, the hobbity hoobity hush. Okay, anywho's, like we need to pull off our rotor here, and our ignition module is going to be just under our rotor, right back in here. So let me pull that off.
The best part for what we got going on, we got enough of these junks around.
We have enough parts.
Yeah, and we ordered a bunch of brand new freaking standard ignition, you know, and we're not sponsored by them. I want to state that now. Standard ignition though. I've used them for, you know, throughout my career working on cars. Standard ignition is very good quality stuff. I hope it never changes. But we had some brand new ones in stock, and we're gonna make this happen.
All right, so let's pull off our rotor, and I need a smaller size socket than the one that you gave me. It was the wrong size. Here's your ignition module. I just pulled the screws out of it so it's loose. Basically, you have to unplug it from this side and this side, and then we're gonna grab our new one and put it in. Our new Standard Motors product ignition module here. One of the things I want to go over quick with you guys that I like to do is put some electrical grease on your terminal ends, and then also the bottom side. That's going to help with moisture and whatnot, and actually make these things last. If not, they'll get corroded and they'll stop working prematurely. But usually when you put one of these guys in, you know, usually these are good for a few, heck, probably a few 100,000 miles. So these are usually pretty good. The HE guys are really, really reliable. That's why we love them so much, and one of the reasons why we're big Chevy fans around here. But let's slap this new guy in and get this distributor back together. I think my dad has the rotor that he's going to be cleaning up right now. So we'll get this guy back in, we'll stab the rotor back in, we'll get our cap back on, and then maybe this thing will run pretty good, which is what we're looking for. So good stuff. Praying that I don't have to bang on the starter. Can you just work and just fire up and purr like a kitten?
Got a little bit more time to throw some wrenches on the old girl. We had some problems with the starter, as you probably were aware of in our last video. Since then, pulled down the starter, fixed some problems with some connection issues, some ground issues, pulled the starter apart. I think ultimately what caused the major problem that we had with this starter, it was not shimmed correctly, so it kept on colliding with the flex plate ring gear. So what it was doing, it was burning up one of the contactor plates or contactor washer that was in the starter solenoid. Pulled that apart, cleaned that up, found one of the copper studs there. Wasn't, when the starter was remanufactured, it wasn't put together right, so it didn't have good contact surface, and basically we just had some burnt contacts and stuff to clean up. Got that resolved. She starts up good now. But ultimately, there's something else that I saw in this thing that really, really bothered me. And before I run the truck anymore, I need to address it. I will show you briefly. Once I was looking underneath this thing, I kind of realized that, oh, there's a yucky Fram filter on this. I know a lot of guys kind of like them. Yeah, the Chevy orange, kind of cool and all. Maybe a marketing ploy, I don't know. But in my opinion, they are an inferior oil filter. Oil didn't look bad in the truck, but it's time to change on her. She's been sitting a long time. Didn't want any problems with filtration or moisture in the oil, so we're dumping it on now, going to get some fresh stuff and a really good filter on there before we run her anymore. I always try to put some better quality parts on, no matter what it is. I mean, this may not be the hardest running mill or the most potent running mill on my property, but I always try to put some good stuff in it. And anytime I try to save a penny or something, it usually doesn't work in the long run for me. Some fellers get away with that, but not this guy. We're gonna put some Super Plus EC SAE 15W40 in here. He had this stuff, sitting here. Probably, it's not a bad oil. I'm not trying to knock it down, but decent quality. And I think the Super Plus EC means extra cool or extra correct or something. Not sure, but the API, that's the serviceability standards, like API CK is more for an industrial engine. Higher temperatures, longer running periods. Basically what it is, this oil is engineered so that way it doesn't break down the viscosity or anything as quickly as your general run-of-the-mill motor oils. Some guys like to run synthetics and stuff like that. I'm kind of old school, and if you have a good petroleum product and you change it at its intervals it needs to be changed, I promise you, especially these older engines, you won't have a problem. Moving over, yet again, not endorsing any particular brand of filter, just happened to be one that I get my hands on quick, because if I didn't realize I ran out of stock, usually I try to keep these stocked up around here because I got many applications with them. But in case a lot of you guys did not know, the Napa Gold line of filters, they are actually manufactured by Wix. Used Wix products for years, never had an issue. Not trying to endorse the product, but just trying to share my experiences with you guys if it helps you out. Which certain manufacturers, certain engines frown upon you doing this, but in all reality, my opinion is, if you have clean oil and a clean jug, I'd rather put a little bit in the filters. What that does for you is, when you're cranking the engine and the engine starts up, it takes a little while for the oil system to prime up, and running anything dry for any extended period of time only accelerates the wear on it. This is totally your preference, what you want to do here, but I usually try to put a little bit in the filters. Some filters, if you can get it down through these small holes, it will filter out before it gets in the filter. Most times that's not practical, but like I said, just make sure you got clean oil. You don't want any dirt or anything, because if you lodge that in a connecting rod or main crankshaft bearing, it'll wipe them out quicker than anything. So just use your judgment, be careful. Got the oil pan filled up, new filter on with oil in it. Just do yourself a favor and take your paint pen and mark your date and your mileage or your operating hours or whatever on whatever piece of equipment you're working on. When you get this many freaking units around that we got hanging around these parts, it's hard to keep track of all of it. Okay, you see how fast that oil pressure came up there? That's because we filled that filter up. Nanoseconds that this engine may have been cranking without oil, but right there, that's why I do what I do. There was another thing that I forgot to add there, that as you've probably seen the pictures, this thing was pretty much all but abandoned for I'm told 5 years, but the inspection sticker on the windshield kind of tells me it might have been closer to 8-9 years. And but anyhow, when we found it, we had a couple flat tires and had to address that. We got some 35 1250 BFG all-terrains on it, which today's money is an expensive tire. There's lots of life left in them. There is a little bit of weather checking on them, but I think we're good to roll with these, you know, as long as we don't do nothing silly with them. But had to repair a leak because it's sitting flat, and you can see, you know, obviously where it was sitting in the dirt, and it went flat. And ultimately it was caused by a bad valve stem core. And so we had to break tires down. I just changed the valve stem core right out, so we got no more problems. The other like side casualty of it sitting flat, there was some dirt got into the bead of the wheel and the tire, and we got that cleaned out, sealed up. Now she's round all the way around. I've been staying that way for a couple days, so one more thing knocked off the list. Got a bunch more things to do though. Any old rig has been sitting for a number of years like this, you really want to go over everything before you put it back into service. We'll update with more. Got another thing that needs some attention on this girl. Brake light was on, and brakes were less than spectacular. You know, we're kind of looking up. Yeah, the line's kind of crusty. You know, obviously she rusted through on a clips to the frame. That's where it collects moisture and what have you. But we're looking back up front, and we're pretty solid back up there. We got a union to tie into there. So yeah, let's I want to do this, replace this one piece. I don't want any more unions than necessary, so we're gonna have to take a run to the auto parts store and get us a roll of 1/4 inch brake line. We're gonna zip that out of there, and yeah, we're gonna get it and pre-soaked up some of the bleeders, you know, the other day. I got the brake cables freed up, and they're functional, folks. They're functional. I like it when it's all starting to roll together. The other thing that we did too today, our exhaust is less than desirable, so we absolutely did what we had to do. Got on the old computer, and yeah, we got some new exhaust spewing devices coming for this thing. So yeah, we got it rolling along. Now you may ask yourself, what is you know, this engine and this taillight have in common? Yes, they're both from Chevrolet piece, but there is a combined history to both these pieces. This engine was in a Chevrolet Suburban that I bought back in 1996, and it was pretty much a parts rig. She's a little wore out, shall we say, but I bought it just for the big block, and you know, and I parts the truck out. Here's where the beauty comes into it, folks. Yeah, I'd say somebody's mowing some lawn or something, and yeah, kind of chucked a rock into our taillight lens. So yeah, it just happens to be we got this one in stock. We cleaned her up, shined her up a little bit, and yeah, we got to swap this thing out. We got to get this rig ready to go down the road. Need a runner. Well, isn't that cute? Some little birdie made a home in there. Well, we're gonna do things the right way for once, and that taillight gasket that was originally in this was all kinds of twisted up and dried up, and don't want to go back into this proper place. So dug in my catalog of parts, and yep, I got a good used one here. So yeah, we're gonna replace that, and we're gonna do this thing right. I ain't gonna lie, folks, you know, that looks pretty darn nice. Only thing is, now that one looks a little dull. Crap, did I just create more work for myself? Doggone it. Well, just a couple minutes time, a little elbow grease. It brought out a little bit of pizzazz here. I could spend more time and make them really look brand new, but we're not going for this look on this truck. We want to make it functional, but you know, somewhat appealing to the eyes. It's going to be a good 20-30 footer. Here's what we used. Some very fine steel wool, soapy water. We cleaned some of the oxidation off the plastic a little bit. Took some Neverdol polishing compound, polished her down a little bit, and then our final step was we actually took some regular automotive wax and put a coat on there and polished her up a little bit more. I mean, it's not perfect, it's still got scratches and stuff, but dang, that looks pretty. Go over here. That's the one that we previously installed. Not bad, you know. Seems like we have a running theme going on this here automobile machine truck. What we got going on right now, we're looking at the inside of the back bumper. It's a step bumper, pretty nice one too, really. But you're looking at another bird's nest. This truck's going to the birds. Not if I can help it. We're going to liberate the wildlife, and then we'll set this thing wild once we get her all straightened around. Well, we had our front marker slash the directional light that wasn't working, and I monkeyed around with it and tried to clean up the contacts and everything, and ultimately we just had a bad socket, and yeah, corrosion, bad stuff happening. Fortunately for us, you know, we got all kinds of spare parts hanging around, so.
And some tools that you can use.
Yep.
So folks, this is a solderer. You plug it in, you let it heat up for a little bit, and you actually use it, and you take this, you actually hold it up against the wire while you're using this to solder it, and like it makes a metal with it, like that. You just have that wet stuff, and you put heat over that.
That's shrink tubing. We put that on there to seal any moisture out from our solder joint to prevent corrosion. Now we can test on it and see if we got something working here, man.
Yeah. Plus you had to use that once you get that in place.
You use like a heat gun or light or any source of heat, and as soon as you put that to this tubing that you put over there, it's insulating tubing, it's made to shrink. You know, we put that on there, it seals up any moisture out of it. Between soldering wires and the shrink tubing, that's one of the top repairs you can do for longevity wise. You know, I really am not a fan of the crimp fittings. Moisture gets in there, and it just, you know, if you're going to take the time to do it right. That's all I'm saying.
Let's see if this thing works or what. Let's see. Oh yeah, hey, we got it.
Here at the green Chevy. Quick update for you. We're trying to get some clips for you of this going down the road, because we finally got it to a point where it actually ran and drove. Discovered a few things. Thing number one, fuel tank leaks. Awesome. Number two, the Turbo 350 decided that it wanted to just make reverse and neutral. So yeah, looks like we're not gonna be getting any videos of this going down the road for you in this video, but no fears, because I guess that means you're gonna get a Turbo 350 transmission rebuild the next time you see this truck. So thank you guys so much for watching. Do appreciate the love and support as always. Hope you did enjoy. This was a little bit different. Big thank you to my dad and Oliver for taking control of this video project, because that's pretty much all on them. I really didn't do that much work, if I'm being 100% honest. But thank you to both of them for putting in their efforts to make this video happen. And we'll see you next time, because we got more work to do on the green truck again. Dang it.